Okay, 1491 to 1607, APUS History, Unit 1. This is only 6% of the exam, so we're going to move fast. We start with Christopher Columbus and the Spanish, who settled in the Caribbean island of Hispaniola. Now, the Spanish were your typical mercantilists, colonizing for money, to spread religion, and to gain power. They were also the worst of the three main American colonists. They had caste systems and really rigid social classes based on race. You had conquistadors killing and robbing people, colonizers forcing natives to search for gold, and enslavement under the encomienda system, which granted Spanish colonists control over Native American laborers in exchange for Christianizing them and providing protection, which they often did not do. The Spanish also started the Columbian Exchange, an exchange of crops, foods, and stuff, but also of disease, which killed even more natives. They did have this guy, though, Bartolome de las Casas, who was a priest. He advocated for the rights of natives. Through the validated debate, he managed to sort of convince the throne to get some legal protection for the natives, including limiting the encomienda system to a single generation of natives. Next, we have the French. The French were mercantilists too, but they were alright. They were friendly-ish. They focused more on trading fur and killing beavers and actually established some alliances with Native Americans. Finally, we have the English. England sent charter companies, like the Virginia Company, to establish English colonies in North America like Jamestown. The king also granted land through the headright system to attract settlers. Poorer settlers came here for opportunity through indentured servitude. They would work for a couple of years to pay off their debt and then be free. It was in Jamestown that the Virginia House of Burgesses was established, the first elected legislative body in the American colonies. I'm actually going to go a bit past 1607 and explain the other colonies. Other colonists came to America in large numbers for religious freedom. Unlike the others, they weren't directly sent by the crown, so they had representative self-government and elected assemblies, the first of which being the Mayflower Compact. English colonists displaced Native Americans and fought with them over land and resources, leading to conflict and warfare. They had a very tentative relationship, so yeah, this never happened. Ironically, although the Puritans came to America for religious freedom, they didn't tolerate any other religions. You had Roger Williams, who was kicked out of the colony for arguing for the separation of the church and state, and Anne Hutchinson, who was kicked out for challenging gender roles and religious beliefs. They actually went on to form Rhode Island, a more religiously tolerant state. Another colony that had high religious tolerance was Pennsylvania, but it wouldn't be formed by Quakers until 1681. Finally, the last thing I want to go over is the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, which was adopted in January 1639, and is considered by many to be the first written constitution of a democratic government in the United States. The end. Subscribe so I keep making more of these.